Hi everyone, I'm here to do a brand new reaction video today. I was so excited by the reaction I got myself to that content. It was so different for me to do a sort of like a topical thing because normally I'm like completely oblivious of what people are doing with their lives online, and to be sent links and be surprised by them was a bit of a new thing. I'm a bit of a control freak, so I wasn't really like sure what was going on there, but you guys seem to like it. Here we go. Guess who gave me a shout out? Of course, the wonderful people at YouTube. So I was so touched and amazed by that because I thought like, I was so excited to do new content and to bring you guys new stuff. But at the same time, it was like, I don't know what kind of stuff to do. Because I didn't really want to do a drag queen or an influencer, but then I was sent it and I thought, well, I look too nice not to use this footage and do it again. I'm going to do another one. So I have specifically asked today for the girls to be drag queens. So we're going to be doing a drag queen reaction special, which is not at all what I had in mind, but since most of the Caucasian queens of Drag Race have been growing up on Joseph Harwood tutorials, it might make sense for me to give my opinion on their makeup. And thank you for everyone that sent in all your pictures. If you want me to do a digital version of your makeup, send in a front shot with no makeup on, and at the end of my videos I'll be adding an actual makeup step-by-step plan for you by me. So let's go in with the video today. Okay, let's have a looky look.
Hi guys, it is me, GotMik.
Okay. All right. So this is the new trans man that's in the American show, GotMik. I adore him. I think he's so fab. The makeup is so cute. It was very reminiscent to me because one of my best friends who sadly passed away, but was one of my YouTube kind of sisters when we started, Spy probably had the best in-person makeup you could ever imagine. She was a trans woman and she was very influential online, and she would do a white base, beautiful skin, perfect blending with the eyes. And GotMik has something about the makeup that reminds me of my friend Sin. So it was really interesting when I saw her because I thought, who is this bitch? This is good makeup. For once, this is actually makeup I enjoy. So let's go in with the tutorial.
Hello, Kate. I'm from Scottsdale, Arizona, originally, which is crazy. I went to Catholic school, just the whole Arizona white girl fantasy. I moved to LA when I was 18 years old to go to fashion school. Thank God my makeup career took off because that was a spooky game plan. I started doing celebrity makeup and putting them into drag, basically. Luckily got introduced to amazing makeup clients like Heidi Klum and Paris Hilton, Tinashe, and just really cool people who would let me kind of do whatever I wanted. There are so many drag queens that have gotten on RuPaul's Drag Race in the past that have their stamped face, and I really wanted to have the exact same thing when I was trying to create and figure out who GotMik was. For me,
So it's interesting because I think it was very similar to my story where I started as a celebrity makeup artist and they wanted me to do them as drag queens. And then when I got very, very popular on social media, when social media used to be fun back in the day, I put a lot of the RuPaul Drag Race girls into makeup. Obviously, there is a massive cross-section between drag and trans and people that have gone through different life experiences, what they wanted to do with their personal transition, who might have used drag as almost like a propellant to get there. Because a lot of these tips are amazing. They just make you feel so much more secure and more expressive. GotMik gets into drag and has a different alter ego as GotMik, whereas my alter ego doesn't exist. I'm me every day. So there is a big difference between the two. And even though sometimes I love to play with makeup and I like to do a creative look and it's just for fun, I'd never even think about it in terms of an alter ego. I always think about it as just a way to decorate who I am. This is awesome. So let's carry on with the video.
Blending it. Now I'm gonna take some powder. I'm gonna set this bitch. I just used the exact same beauty blender I just blended this out with because one, I'm lazy, and two, that actually might be the only reason. So now I'm going to contour, and I literally just use a gray eyeshadow, and I basically just use this Aquaria.
So I love the fact that this is a white base. I love that there's a clean canvas. It's so perfect for color looks, and I think it's definitely a signature. I love the idea of just using a grey eyeshadow in the contour. I think that's how I would do it if I was doing a monochrome look. If you go back in time, I do have a monochrome look that was inspired by Tippi Hedren, and I did very similarly. She's doing a little bit more of an extreme cut, but fab so far.
So I'm gonna go into it with the pink one first. When I saw this squiggly dress that Ray Ortiz made me for the entrance, I was kind of maybe thinking about how I've done weird eye shapes in the past, and I was like, let's just copy this dress, girl. We're not doing a normal crease today. So I always start everything where my crease would be because I like to blend them together. And then I'm just gonna draw some bumpies. Whoops on out, bitch. I like this brush, so I'm just gonna wipe it off and reuse it with other colors. Now we're gonna use green, which is my fave one. I'm just going to do the same thing.
So the eye makeup is done with water paints. Now, I absolutely hate water paints for so many reasons, but for me, I don't know what it is about my skin, but it just does not stick to my skin at all. And once they dry, you can't really, like, have you ever seen someone cry in drag and you know their makeup's kind of like, the tears have taken off the makeup, and then when you try and reapply it on top of that, you're like, oh shit, it looks like a cakey mess. That would be my whole thing with eyeshadow. So I have to go to more of a waxy or cream route, and if I was going to do this in a more 3D-ish way, I would probably use pencils, because pencils are so much easier to blend, and I would have done the base at the end. So that's just because I've got different skin. I think if he can do this type of gorgeous watery colour, they're bright, they're gorgeous. There's a brand called Suva who do great eyeliners like this. So let's go in.
And so I was just walking around and like looking in the mirror, and obviously my shoe fell off. Like, why was I allowed to jump into a split on the main stage, but walking off the little mini stage, that didn't work. I don't know. Utica walked in the workroom. She was the craziest person I've ever met in my life, and I was living for her. I was glad because I felt like I was in a little pinup artistry look, and with my clown white face, and then here comes a literal clown walking in the workroom out clowning me. That was crazy to me. I love to lip sync. I'm more of a spending a week on choreo with hot dancers behind me type T, as opposed to, hi, you walked into the drag race scene, and in the first 5 minutes, please show me why you're staying in the competition via lip sync to Lindsay Lohan type T's, you know? I'm gonna go in with this yellow now and just trace over that black mess.
What can I say? I'm enjoying this immensely. I think he's got a very different approach to me when it comes to makeup, because I am a detailed diva. So I will go in and go in and go in and go in. I'll perfect something, and then I will make that bit perfect before I move on to the next thing, where he is putting on makeup and then he uses a contrasting shade to neaten up the edges of what he's already done. And that's so much more professional. Like when you're in a rush, I forgot which is probably the worst queen I've done. I wasn't convinced of doing Milk's makeup, even though I knew he was kind of like a viewer of my work. I didn't know what his sort of style was yet, because you remember when Milk went onto the show and he didn't really have a specific aesthetic, and then when he came off the show he found himself and looked so amazing, and he is a lovely person, so I'm not saying anything about that. So if I remember rightly, I think he used MAC stick, that sort of mastic stuff, which is the glue, like the latex glue in the eyebrows, and I was like, oh shit, this is totally a different approach to what I would have done to start with, and I didn't have enough time to do it properly, and it was just such a rushed thing. And had I got the sense that GotMik has got, which is get all the makeup on and then just neaten up the edges and get the good pictures, I think it would have gone better. But the pictures were amazing. I'm not saying they didn't look good, but for all the stuff that I wanted to do on that shoot, it just was it went totally awry. So if you want to pay attention to how someone does it properly, watch this bitch, because that was more sensible than what I'd done. Anyway, let's continue.
But girl, de-dragging is so fun in that workroom, I can't even tell you. All right, so now we are baking my nose so it looks very snatched. I don't know why you do that, but I see people do that, so it works for me. I love this makeup, it's just so cute. I'm gonna highlight my cheeks, which I probably should have done before I do.
Okay, I wanted to talk about baking because a lot of people have asked me to do tutorials about baking in the past. So baking is obviously a technique where you put on a loose powder and you push it into the area so it almost gives some colour to the area, and the longer you leave it on, the more it kind of sets in place. So you will be left with a sort of residual colour of whatever baking powder you've applied. Now, baking really does work when you're in the warm countries of the world. It does not work when you're in the cold countries of the world unless you have really oily skin skin. If I was to do that in Brighton in the winter time, I would look literally like the dust of the Sahara Desert blowing around the seafront with the seagulls pecking at my face. Like the Tippi Hedren movie. But no, it just wouldn't work. It just doesn't work for everyone. It's better to use a product that you can layer. So if, for example, you wanted to bring in a mid-tone, which is something I always see is missing in drag makeup. People use one shade and then they blend it out, but they don't introduce an actual dimension shade in with that. So they start with a flat colour, they bring in the contour colour, and then they blend it into each other just one on one. You can actually make it look a little bit more seamless if you introduce a third shade and pull in between the two. So it depends on where you are. If you enjoy the effect of baking, go ahead, but for me, not so much. I do like the actual lips. I would actually put some more dimension back into the lips by using a highlight to shape a Cupid's bow on top of what she's drawn in, because whereas me, I've got really big lips anyway, and when I just do the outside of my lips, it gives like, can I show you like there? That bit. If you just add something over black, it looks so sick. Like it looks so sick. Maybe even like an iridescent blue and it comes out like... So I'm not sure who's going to be next, but I've requested just drag queens today, so let's hope it's a good one because there's a lot that ain't that good. Okay, let's go.
Hi everybody, it's Aiden Zane from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12. I am going to be recreating my entrance look into
I don't know who this is.
So watch me go from this to this. First things first, I like to just, you know, put on a nice little wig cap, make sure my hair is pulled back. Not that I have much of it, but...
What season was this person on? I've never seen them in my life. Let me watch more, because maybe I'm Dory the Fish, not just in looks, but maybe in memory today. Let's have a look.
A full coverage paint stick, because I am a man and I need to cover up everything. I am just going to use just a little cheap makeup sponge to just blend this out. I'm not one of these girls who worries about it.
Now, I have to say, I'm not one of the girls that worry about a beauty blender either. I'm not even sure when the beauty blender was introduced to the world, because there's always been makeup sponges like that around, so I don't know when it kind of became a thing. It's just amazing, isn't it, how like trends in beauty occur. They just pop out of nowhere. I really think that people just need to go with what makes them feel the most confident. Do you know what I mean? Like, I never think you need to buy everything on the shelf and every item that's trending. Go with what like works. Like, and also I think the point of makeup is to have fun and be creative. So don't think that just because you don't have that colour you can't mix it. I mean, these are pigments in different formats. You can do whatever you want with them. So I'm with her on this.
And I think when people tend to think of my face, they think of everything as very angled and like straight up. So my cheeks, my eyes, everything, I love to like paint at like a severe angle. And then again, we are just going to blend that out. Just to help give, I like, you know, to have my cheeks more defined, so just to give a nice white line under that contour. And you want to be careful when you do this, because using grease on top of the powder after you've already set can get messy real quick.
I wouldn't really advise you guys using anything creamy on top of a powder unless you're confident with where you're going to apply it. Sometimes when you cut back into shapes, it works really well. Sometimes I really, really like the impact of a fresh concealment over a powdered face, because it can look so dramatic when you get it right. But no, I wouldn't recommend that. And I also think for the placement of Aiden's face, I would have changed the entire angle of the cheekbone. So there's my wand. So Aiden's kind of drawing like this and this, which in theory you think would elevate the features of the face. Now what's actually it's doing is it's pointing out that the line in the top of his features are actually pointing downwards, so they're not really that great to do. They actually work in the opposite way of what you want. So sometimes for me, for example, if I was to really bring this up, you would notice so significantly how my eye shapes like that and goes down. So oftentimes when I do a cat eye, I've got to get it the right shape for me, otherwise I can look a bit sleepy. I think for the look he's going for, I would have just made it a little bit more flatter and going wider, so that the shapes made his face more heart-shaped and the actual look was more balanced, just for me. But that we're halfway there, so let's see what happens.
Now that your wings are looking nice and dark, I'm gonna go back in again with my pencil liner and do my waterline and sort of just finish shaping things up and getting it looking correct. I am going to go back in with that.
Again, I don't think the effect is giving it the full ability of what you could do with that. I understand what you're saying. I would do it so much wider. I'd make it wide, then go up. Almost like, who is that fabulous queen that did the first season from Puerto Rico? What's her name? Nina Flowers. Nina Flowers is so good. Like, her makeup is amazing. It was really, really like distinctive. Even back in MySpace days when she was on MySpace, she was a very, very, very incredible makeup queen. I think that it just looks cooler when you're doing this sort of look to make it massive instead of tiny. But that's to each their own. I'm not saying it's a criticism. I just wouldn't do it myself like that. Okay, so this is the end result of the face today. What do I think? Now, I think that he did a good job with the design of the character. It reminds me of Betty Boop. Do I think there is any technical stuff that I would do differently? Definitely so. I would definitely do the contour in a very different way. I would firstly introduce a different colour in between the contour he's using and also the highlight, because even though there was blush placement, it wasn't strongly applied. I think it might look a bit jazz singery and cartoony with another colour, which I love. What would I do? Maybe I'll pop on the screen what I would do. I think I'd probably change the eye shape. I think the small little lines are cute. I would go more like crazy cartoon. I would do like a really crazy, almost like an exaggerated Bugs Bunny, but into a 60s shape. I'd probably use lower lashes that are more spiky, and I'd probably do the contour so that it made the top of the bridge much more wider, and then when it came to the lower portion of the face and the width of the face, I would have gone out into a more of a sort of horizontal shape, so the line became more heart-shaped when you actually looked at it from a distance. So I think it's fab. What can I say? I don't even know who this person is. I don't know what season they're on, but I didn't watch all of them, so someone will write in the comments below where they're from. But it's amazing. What can I say? People do amazing makeup. It's just all different. So on to the next one. Okay, so let's go on with link number 3. Now, who could it be?
Hi guys, it's me, Jada Essence Hall from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12, and I'm going to show you how I did my entrance look. It's a really cute, easy, simple look.
I like this one. This one won. I like this one. So she can do makeup really good and really quickly, and it wouldn't surprise me if she did do some makeup artistry herself. So polished. That's all I'm going to say. She's one of the best recent season makeups. Let's go in. I'm excited to see this one.
Baby, you just need to get stuff done a little bit quicker, and it was so good, you just made a mess everywhere, okay? We want to set our color corrector. This way, when you go in with the foundation, it's not mixing the two colors together. Boom, boom, boom. I take a little piece of tape, and I line it up with my eye, and you kind of basically move it where you want the angle for your eye to be.
So she's using eye tapes, which make the whole job so much easier. You have a guideline, you can blend over the top of them, and you still are left with a perfect line. It's a good way to go, and I'm interested to see, now she's laid down a sort of paler base, what the colours will look like on top.
Get a really flat brush, something that's really nice and flat. This is what you're gonna do if you cut the crease, if you choose to cut the crease, but we're doing my tutorial, so we're going to cut the crease, okay? So what we want to do is just lay it here, and you want to use the flatness of the brush to like help guide you.
So I am intrigued by this because this is done in a very kind of like, she knows what she's doing kind of way. I'm intrigued by how the effect will work out towards the end of the video, because she does a much bigger space than I actually thought she did. Maybe that's the cleverness of the proportion there, because she does transform her proportions around the middle of her face. So it's interesting sometimes to be reminded how much makeup queens actually wear. Because a lady such as myself, even though I do like to wear a lot of makeup on occasions, I always keep it very like that way instead of that way, because I already got these features. I don't need to trick the eye into thinking that I have. So if I put too much on, sometimes I look ridiculous. If you ever watched that other drag show where the drag queens do the women in drag and they just look a little bit absurd, I feel a bit like that sometimes when I've got too much on.
A little bit, and then you want to kind of just dot it down where you want the eyeline to be. I like to take my time, but then you might be running late to a gig. Take a black eyeshadow and just go over and set everywhere where you use the eyeliner. You just want to build it just up a little bit in that burgundy.
So she's a pro, she knows what she's doing. It looks great. I think they look really, really, really nicely done. There is nothing I would do different. She knows exactly what she's doing. On to the next.
Buff it all out. I like to think that the most important part of the night are the photos, because if you don't have a photo, the night never happened, okay? So if you want to look good in the photos, make sure that you always blend, because if you don't blend this black out, it will be a really harsh, horrible line. You want to look like it's already airbrushed and already edited, so you don't have to worry about other people going in and doing that for you. So you just remove the tape, and you have a beautiful, clean line. You do it on the other side, yes, and pull it back.
So I am living for the contouring and highlighting. I think that the colours are amazing. What amazing skin. I think she's fabulous. I think that I'm surprised by how precise she's done it in this quick manner. It doesn't seem like she would get all these like points hit on the right time, but this is an experienced makeup person. So I'm very impressed by this, I have to say.
We really, really believe in under eye highlight. So what I do is take another concealer, and it's just the same concealer we used earlier for the eyes, and I just take a few dots of it, just a little bit, and just put in here basically where you want it to rise up just a little bit more on the face. Enough just to accentuate the highlight and make a little bit more definite line. A tiny bit. And then here I like to go at this moment on my nose and just put like where my nose should stop. It's not always a direct science.
So I'm really, I didn't know she did this extra step with the baking, but that explains why the finish looks so good. And what I was talking about earlier, introducing a middle colour between the two, this is what I mean. It just makes everything look so much more next level, and it's often forgotten. People do one and then a contour, and then that's it. They don't reintroduce like another shade, which she has done, which looks amazing. So yeah, I'm really impressed by this. What can I say? Would I do differently? Absolutely nothing. She looks great.
In the bottom of my eye. So instead of this time going really hard in with the burgundy color, what I wanted to start out first is the raspberry tone.
The one thing I think I could say I would do slightly different is when she did all that amazing blending with the eye over the tapes, if she'd used even a lipstick that was the color that she wanted, I don't think the burgundy would have changed to purple, because I think it looks more, even though it's blended to perfection, the color payoff has changed. Even though I think it looks great. There's nothing I can say. I'm just trying to find things that I could perhaps help you guys who want to learn about this stuff with. I don't know what you could say. It looks amazing. So what can I say? Amazing. This one today was a special celebration as everyone's been talking about drag during the lockdown. We've all been enjoying Drag Race. So I hope you guys like that one. We're not going to be doing a digital makeover today because there was 3. So I will do 3 sections per these reaction videos. And I can't wait to show you more. I filmed a couple of them, but I thought this one will come up next. And yes, so thank you guys. Really enjoying doing these new content series. And I'm happy you guys like the look of them. I'm really excited to announce some new things coming, which I'm really excited because I have a big campaign coming out, which I'm nervous about. And I've got some more bits up my sleeve, so don't you worry. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I will see you all in my next video. Mwah.
Why these bitches be face because I'm not out? You know any given time we could pop out. Every time I see shit, they quick to cap out. I just got these hoes thinking that they got clout. Get your ass back in that house.